Hi, I wanted to talk about Nearpod. So Nearpod is a way for you to build your lessons around interactive lessons and all sorts of different quizzes and all sorts of lots of really good formative assessment tools. It's more powerful than Google Slides or PowerPoint, for example, because of that interactivity that you can give to your students. You can, of course, take a look at their resources. They're standard aligned. And so I just wanted to show you kind of what Nearpod is about. So if you look at a demo, right, so you have your teacher device and your student device here, just a sample lesson here about the solar system. It'll align to some objectives, right? You can create these slides to, highlight the importance of what the students are learning, right? Identifying the planets of the solar system, characteristics of the solar system, right? So, with Nearpod, you can see who is participating and you can see what kinds of responses people are writing, right? So, for example, what is something you already know about our solar system? Well, this student here says the Earth revolves around the sun, right? And if you really like that answer, you can share it and the rest of the class can see it, right? You have opportunities for collaboration, right? Students can collaborate with each other to, finish some activities, discuss with each other, and other stuff like that. And I did say this was a digital platform, so you can, of course, use this in your traditional classroom. Students will just need a computer for that, right? So if, I quickly do this, right? We can see exactly what grades the pairs will get, right? And the grades are updated automatically, and so you can instantly see, how students are doing. And if they aren't doing so well, then you can, of course, modify your instruction to better meet their instructional goals, right? You can, there's lots of different kinds of activity. So this one is a labeling activity. And here are just some of the key points. And then you can take an exit ticket quiz, right? True or false? Mars is further from the sun than the Earth. That's true. How many does it take for the Earth to revolve around the sun? That would be 365 days. And which of the following is not a planet? Well, the moon, right? And you can again instantly see which students got it correct and which students didn't get it correct, right? So Nearpod is a very useful tool for that, right? It also allows you to track student data, right? All of this data is saved on a teacher report, so you can see individual grades or the whole class data, and it's broken up into by question, so you can see exactly what questions need work or what standards you can or what standards your questions have aligned to, right? And so Nearpod is a very useful way for teachers to shape their lessons ideally how they want, right? And ideally to align with the objectives set out for that day. It's again an interactive tool that really helps you capture data in real time, and you can see what to do with it after that. And so if you want to make sure that your items, exercises, tasks are of high quality, you can iterate upon them, right? Students can retry these assignments until they are comfortable with the material, right? Does it represent learning appropriately? Right. Again, you can monitor answers in real time and modify instruction for that. Does the assessment control? So does Nearpod control for bias? I actually find that any tool really that you use, if you want to control bias, you need to make sure that you're giving the right material, right? There will be bias if questions are not level appropriate. if it'll skew it higher or skew the results higher or lower depending on the difficulty, right? There's also going to be bias if the questions aren't clear in what they're asking for, right? If there's a lot of confusion, how is that going to measure your students' progress appropriately? And finally, there will be bias if students do not complete tasks on time, right? So if the student's not engaged, you can't collect data on them and you don't really know how they're going to be doing. Right. Do formative, so can it guide the next instructional steps? Of course, right? With the real-time updates, you can see exactly how your students are doing, and address misconceptions there. There's also an option for student-paced learning. You can switch that on, and students can go at their own pace and go through that material. And if students need help, right, if they ask for help in the classroom, you can, of course, go and help them while other students work on their assignments, right? Do students receive and act on feedback? Yes, right. Questions are automatically graded, and so you get instant feedback with things that you got right, things that you got wrong, and opportunities to redo the work. Students offer accurate feedback to peers, right? During collaborative work, of course, we're going to be emphasizing that. Are students engaged in accurate self-assessment and productive goal setting? Yes, right. Again, the instantaneous feedback that they receive can better gauge what they improve on. Is formative assessment information tracked as needed? Yes, right. The responses are all saved automatically on the teacher report, right? Are students engaged in tracking, reflecting upon, and sharing learning progress, right? With the collaboration, you can, of course, emphasize that we're all in this together, and see how we can improve both the mutual learning of the students. Is summative assessment information recorded according to the learning represented? Right. Ideally, that's on you. Right. You want to align your questions to what was covered with students. Right. And what was covered with the students, not necessarily the objectives you had set out for that day. Because if you didn't get to an objective, then of course you're going to set your students up for failure if you're asking them stuff that they don't know. Is summative assess information combined and summarized appropriately to reflect current level of achievement? Yes, right. Again, responses are saved automatically, and teachers can access all student data and all of that. Hopefully you check out Nearpod. It's a very good tool. I encourage you to explore it. It's well worth the money. So, all right. Take care.